Hi, and in this video I'm going to go over my advice for melee DPS for the Cenarius encounter in Emerald Nightmare. This will cover heroic mode for now, and the Retribution Paladin specific video will be coming out at the end of this series. First of all, an overview of the fight. You are essentially switching between the boss and adds, which periodically spawn. There isn't much scope for remaining on the boss because he casts Dread Thorns, which means that attacking Cenarius or attacking anything from range will mean you do damage to yourself. Each time a wave of adds appears, you can choose one of them to be purified and actually help you by placing the largest group of players nearby. As such, you may be required to move to a particular corner of the room at certain times. As with the start of most fights, you're likely to pop DPS cooldowns, and this is probably going to be no different. However, the Dread Thorns will be cast before your cooldown ends, which is more than a touch unsporting. You can keep attacking the boss for a short time if you have a suitable defensive available before moving away from the aura and switching to the adds as soon as they spawn. When it comes to the adds, different raid groups may make different decisions as to which Nightmare Seed is purified, so rather than go over combinations of adds, I'll just go through each individually. During periods when adds are up, you are likely to see small green pools of cleansed ground, which, when you run over them, removes your stack of creeping nightmares. Now, on the one hand, you don't want to be constantly cleansing yourself as you lose too much DPS time on the boss or adds. However, if the stacks go too high, the damage you are taking might mean stretching the healers too far, or you just simply die. Usually, you'll want to keep your stacks below 25, but the exact figure may depend on the timings of your fight. When it comes to positioning, the main consideration for melee will be the need to make sure we're well inside the Treant's hitbox when it is one of the hostile adds. This is because it casts a stomp periodically, which does a lot of damage shared out between players in range. If you're not in range, you increase the amount of damage everyone else takes. So if, for example, you have the Treant and Dragon active, you prioritise damage on the Dragon first, but stand on the Treant whilst doing so. The main harm from the Dragon itself is the breath. It will turn and cast Rotting Breath. Move out of the cone when this happens. The reason the dragons have to be killed quickly is due to another ability called Nightmare Buffet. This begins at 50% health and does a lot of raid damage. It can easily wipe you if the damage on dragons is low. Scorned Sisters cast a spell called Twisted Touch of Life. Melee DPS should be straight onto these and interrupt as many casts as possible. In terms of the adds mentioned so far, these should be top priority generally. You may get a debuff called Scorned Touch. This places a circle around you and slows your movement speed. After a short time, you will explode damage onto other players in range, so move immediately out of range and away from other people with the same debuff. If you use a movement speed immunity or boost, then the effect immediately ends. This will make you very unpopular with anyone who was in range at the time, so don't. Just crawl slowly away so that the effect ends out of range of anyone else. You will have to bear in mind that if the tank gets this ability, that you're going to have, they can't obviously move away because they will drag the mob with them. So you're going to have to position yourself so that you're in melee range of the mob, but out of the circle of the tank. The final set of adds which could become hostile are wisps, but these are a pain in the arse you can do without. However, just for completeness, and should your raid leader want something else cleansed instead, then the best thing melee can generally do is slow and stun as many wisps as possible. If you're targeted by one, kite it away. Ranged DPS will generally be killing them. Of course, you may be able to AoE stun or grip them and use AoE to quickly finish them off with suitable healing cooldowns. If so, and your AoE is strong, then you are likely to be useful here, so demon hunters and monks rejoice. The overall DPS priorities for adds are wisps, then sisters, then dragons, and finally the treants. One mechanic that doesn't affect melee but can still be a problem is the Nightmare Brambles. These target ranged players and move towards them. But it's not easy to see who is targeted, so range need to spread out until it becomes obvious who it is. However, if it's not done properly, you may find the brambles moving very close to the melee position. This is a particular danger where the raid group might be stacked up, for example when the treant is hostile and everyone needs to share the stomp. Needless to say, don't let yourself get caught by a bramble or it will root you and deal significant damage. Movement immunities will work to break you out if you have them. In terms of DPS cooldowns, try to use them either when you have just switched to the boss or when you have just switched to adds. Remember that you have to cover some distance to get between one and the other, so using it just when it comes off cooldown may not let you get the best effect. Also, try and cleanse your stacks just before using DPS cooldowns so you don't have to interrupt to do that. Movement speed boosts are really useful here because the movement between boss and adds, and also between which target you're currently on and the cleansed ground in order to reset your stacks of Creeping Nightmare, can be quite significant. If talents allow you to get better movement, then it might be worth considering them. When Cenarius reaches 35%, you enter the final burn phase. It's important to have a tidy transition, so there may be a call to hold DPS for a bit, so behave yourself. If not, you will essentially be trying to kill the boss off ASAP and will need to have saved cooldowns and a second part for this point. There is one more important job, however. Not for the first time, that idiot Malfurion will get entangled in brambles himself and needs breaking out. Now, although this is a job mainly for ranged DPS, you need to think about your composition. If a significant proportion of your raid is melee DPS, then you'll need to help out as well. Once that's done, focus everything on the boss and keep moving out of bad until it's over. So that's my advice for the heroic Cenarius encounter in Emerald Nightmare. If you found it useful, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share for further content. And until next time, I'll see you later.